Good morning and welcome to the Forex Daily Update, brought to you by Pepperstone on Friday the 15th of March 2019. I'm Darren Sinden, and you can follow me throughout the day on Twitter by using @ds_Pepperstone. Okay, let's kick off with a look at the overnight changes and price moves to be aware of. Relatively quiet session over the last 24 hours on the world's foreign exchanges, but still some key talking points. First of all, the euro advancing again, taking 0.14% off of the US dollar yesterday, bringing its weekly gains to just under 1%. And it was it's tempting to think perhaps that we may have seen the bottom now in the euro dollar for the moment. Speaking of things bouncing off of the bottom, both the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar adding gains to against the US dollar yesterday. 0.25% to the good for the Australian dollar and 0.17% to the good for the Kiwi. Both of those currencies now up on the week. The Canadian dollar was also able to take some money off of its US counterpart yesterday, advancing by 0.2%. And the South African rand was the last of the commodity currencies to be making gains against the US dollar, adding 0.33% to its gains against the US dollar over the last couple of days. So, moving on to what's on the calendar, events that may move the markets today. Well, we've already had the Bank of Japan interest rate decision and statements, and we'll look at that in a bit more detail momentarily. To come this morning at 08:55 GMT, we'll also hear from the Bank of Japan's Governor Kuroda in his speech and press conference at 10 a.m. This morning we shall have consumer price index data out of the Eurozone for the month of February, a chance to have a good look at how prices are performing in the Eurozone. That'll be a particular interest if like me, you view inflation as a measure of the excess demand within an economy. At 13:15 this afternoon we jump over the Atlantic for US industrial production data, this for the month of March, and at 1400 we'll have the last of the day's high impact data, again from the USA in the shape of the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey for the month of March. Okay then, breaking news and comment that's caught my eye overnight. And first of all, the Bank of Japan has left interest rates and QE unchanged, but has said that it is concerned about the prospect of a global slowdown. Obviously more from that probably from Governor Kuroda a bit later this morning. UK MPs have voted to extend Article 50 and defer the UK's leaving date from the EU. Theresa May will now ask for an extension in next week's Council of Europe meeting. It's not guaranteed that the EU will grant this, and there's probably likely to be some discussion about the length of the extension and the implications of the upcoming European elections in that process as well. Meanwhile, Italy is said to be in advanced talks with China over funding for Belt and Road initiatives in the country, despite EU warnings for them not to pursue those talks, and that's according to the FT. So it sounds like we could be on course for another clash between the governments in Brussels and in Rome. Speaking of Brussels, MEPs voted against trade talks with Washington yesterday, and President Trump warned of severe economic pain for the EU if it didn't engage in these discussions. So I'm sure that's a story we're going to hear more of over the coming weeks. Okay then, food for thought, something to take away with you into the trading day and beyond, and why not think about this? We've got used to seeing US equity indices gaining rapidly over the last decade or so, but it wasn't always the case. And the list here, a bit of Friday fun, 5 facts about the Dow, which shine a light really on how these gains have been made over the longer term. This is taken from the Irrelevant Investor blog, part of a wider list of fascinating facts on investing. For instance, here the Dow has only been positive 52% of all days. The average daily return is 0.73% when it's up and 0.76% when it's down. You probably wouldn't have thought that it would have made moves like that, but it's the compounding effect of these kind of changes that have seen these big swings from left to right. Okay, it's risk warning time. Please do take a moment to read this risk warning, because trading CFDs and foreign exchange on margin can be a risky business. If you're uncertain about the suitability of leverage products for you or the risks involved in trading, then please do contact your Pepperstone account representatives, who'll be happy to take you through those. And as I say, do read this risk warning thoroughly, please. Thank you for your time today.